Good morning, everyone. We're about to start. حياكم جدا. Welcome to another session of Minds at Work. In today's session, you will learn a lot about what goes into building homes, houses. You'll also see interesting things if architects were car designers. How would that be? The different type of designs that goes into architectures and buildings. Please welcome Ahlam Zainal to the stage.
Hello, good morning. And I hope it's a light session. CCD have been trying to reach out, and it was quite a task, to think what to present. So over the past few weeks, it came to my mind that casually a lot of people were asking me from GFH, from Khaliji, on how to design their house. They're in different stages of design, looking for architects, building, looking for materials. So I thought I'll give you some sort of a framework. It's a big topic. I can't cover it all, but at least I'll try. And then if you have any questions, I'm happy to take. So design overall is all about originality, and to some extent with architecture having not only the artistic part of it, but also the engineering. So it's a combination of both. And with that, you need to think of ways to solve problems and to find solutions. And it comes with the art of planning and to put a form into an idea. So if you give any designer an approach to solving a puzzle, you will see that they come up with different solutions. They're always thinking differently, and that's the cool thing about design. People can stack them differently. They can, and as we do normally if we are given any piece of design to solve. I thought this would be interesting. It might have popped in Instagram to some of you with AI generating images of how international architects have, if they were to design automobiles, what would the design be like? And with this, the idea around this is that if, for example, you give a design to King Okuma, who's a famous Japanese architect, he would design it around, local materials. So he has designed a lot of buildings in Japan with wood. And so AI interpreted that with a wooden car. Similarly, if you give a design to Frank Gehry, he's obsessed with titanium, and the design resembles something which is futuristic and has the same material. Zaha is more known for having influences from art, and her design is more fluid, and you'll see that it's all passionate about fluidity and paintings. Whereas Frank Lloyd Wright is more organic, and the designs are more flowy. If you come to Renzo Piano, Norman Foster, they're more about high-tech sustainability, so their designs are more futuristic. So the idea basically, and what I'm trying to mention with this slide, is that every architect has his own design language and his line of work. With time, they start to develop their own line of thought, and whenever you give them any problem, they try to solve it within their core principles. And that's what we refer to as the design DNA. And so always be mindful that when you go to a designer or an architect, that you like the outcome of their work. And there are references that you're comfortable to deal with. So design goes beyond, and architecture goes beyond, designing buildings. There's an overlap with interior design, with jewelry, with furniture, and those are examples of, again, international architects that have designed jewelry pieces, vases. They collaborated with brands like Frank Gehry worked with Tiffany, Zaha did with Swarovski, and those are explorations of other ideas, not only architecture. On a personal interest, I'm sometimes passionate about designing jewelry, so those are some of the explorations I've done. 3D modeling, I like it, and when I have time, I try to do it from time to time. But the idea around this is, I think Nael was talking about sporting lessons and how it benefits your health. And sketching is also quite important for health. And translating ideas into reality gives you a sort of accomplishment. It de-stresses you, it meditates you. So there are a lot of good benefits around designing and sketching. So encourage your kids or your family if they are into art. So now with building homes, I thought I'll run you through, first of all, what do you need to consider when you're looking for land? Because a lot of you, you would start with acquiring a piece of land, and you need to be mindful that every land in Bahrain has a zoning. And every zoning comes with a percentage of built up, so you cannot build the entire plot. You need to be mindful of the built ups, the setbacks, and the zoning parameters. Yesterday, interestingly enough, one of the clients was coming to us and saying, he had a land, he built it all, and then all of a sudden he went to urban planning and found out that the zoning now is freeze. So he can't even energize it and start to live in it. So it's quite important that you always go to Binayat, check that what's your zoning and what it allows you to do. Sometimes you take an RG plot, you cannot put the same built up as you're taking another plot which is zoned RA, so you need to know the differences. Location is key, but it's very subjective to people. You have to be around your family, or you need to be strategically located next to your kids' schools. So each one has different reasons to choose the locations, and connection to services basically. And also you need to be mindful of the soil. You need to do soil tests, because if you're living close to the sea, the soil will then dictate a different foundation than if you're living in a desert site. So each one, then the engineer will design according to your foundation. And make sure that you have cleared all the legal matters. You have your title deed, it doesn't have a loan, it doesn't have any obligations and disputes around your plot. So those I think are generally what happens when you're thinking of a land. And then beyond this, we sometimes don't think of all the budgets that we need to have in hand in order to design a house. So aside from the design and the architect fee and the construction, you also have to be mindful that you have to add the permit cost to it, utility costs. If you have a garden, you need to consider all the landscaping costs that goes to it, the furnishing, interior design, and always keep a buffer, just to be on the safe side. So budget it all, make sure that you have a full list, and in order not to get into designing and stopping. And avoid changes as much as possible. During design, it's easy, you can solve it because it's on paper. But once on your own site, it becomes more difficult, and you will be charged additionally to that. So now, once you're covered with the cost, you're covered with the budgeting, you need to think of what are the elements that I need to bring to the house and how to give life to the house. And with that, you need to define your own goals, your own size, what's your family size, what's the future growth you're looking at in this house. Is it a 5-year term or a 10-year, or what's your objective with the house that you will live in? And you need to check, when it comes to architecture, the list of architects that is on this website is important to look into, because sometimes the architects from time to time, they change. The engineering firms that are able to finish your building permit are always listed, and they sometimes get blacklisted, or sometimes they're left out. So you need to make sure that they are on the list. Otherwise, you will be dealing with an artist, and then he will have to give it to an engineer to finish the process. And if you're planning for any automation or smart tech or solar, then you have to plan it early, so that you keep it all done at the beginning without having trunks later on or wires in your house, because it's an afterthought. And when you reach to the architect, the least you could do is to define your mood, or what sort of style you look at. And this was done in a second. I just gave it to AI, saying, on AI mood generators, create a template for a Moroccan style house. And so it's not detailed. I mean, the more detail you give to the architect, the more he has information to work with. If you like certain style of doors, cabinets, any details or elevations that you like, it would be good to, to make the process faster and more tailored to what you like. And don't forget about your hobbies, if the space allows. It's interesting that I gave this to AI, and I just mentioned create a grid of hobbies that you can integrate in your house. And the results are interesting, from an art workshop to a tennis court, or you can have a theater in your house, or you can have a space for gardening. So it's all personalized according to what you like and what you want to bring into the house to make it joyful, and a space where you want to stay in and make it a home. And then homes come with different things that we need to consider as well, and you need to challenge the architects to work around. So you need to look into natural light, ventilation, how to engage the indoor and the outdoor spaces, and to design for the local weather, and how the spaces flow from one space to the other. Sometimes you find houses with long corridors, or you find houses with so many steps. So it all depends on functionality and what you want to introduce to the house. If you have elderly people, you need to consider all those aspects. And storage. I mean, when I was talking to my friends about what you want to listen when, and what tips to bring, they told us always storage is an issue. We don't have storage, we didn't design for storage, or we've overestimated storage. So we need to think of, how many things you really want to have in your house to make it comfortable, and it obviously has an impact on your mood, on your style of living. And I think a lot of people came to me as well saying, we went to Instagram and we checked this account, and it's very easy. I mean, again, with AI, I just told, find for me the most established and registered interior design companies in Bahrain, and what they have delivered in terms of residential units, whether you like the style or not. But don't be fooled by the looks, because sometimes you can see those images, they're nice, but they have not delivered. And so make sure that those consultants, they know how to work around putting the fit outs, the details. You've experienced some of the spaces that they have worked on. And design has impact on mood. I mean, I don't know how you feel when you see the top pictures versus the lower ones. And so, when you come up with flashy colors, things that are too cluttered, it gives you a different energy and a different mood than when you're down with, more subtle, more neutral colors. So stay away from, the loud, unless it's your personality and you like it. But usually it's nicer to build up, layer the lighting, layer the theming, so that, you can achieve something which is more timeless. So beyond design, when you get to construction, again, this is also a regulated practice in Bahrain, so you need to make sure that you have pre-qualified contractors. You can check them out in Ministry of Works website. Again, they change year on year. Some of them, they tackle projects over millions, which you don't need if you're building a house, so you need to know which brackets to look at. And don't always go for the lowest or the cheapest bid that you receive, because sometimes it's tricky and it doesn't cover all the aspects that you're trying to achieve. So make sure those things are reviewed. And usually with homes, defaults and defects come after 2-3 years' time. So if you don't focus on the necessary things and the invisible things that are similar to the wiring, the foundation, so don't underestimate those things, because they would give you bigger headaches in the future. So with that in mind, I just thought I'll run you through Tilal, which is one of the projects that we're working on currently in Areen. With all the aspects that we have discussed, and also looking at experienced architects. We brought consultants from the States that have designed Arabian ranches in Dubai, different commercial sort of homes, and more on a mass scale. And we had Spanish architects as well that have designed the overall look and feel. we're not designing for one client. It's 151 homes, so we need to cater for a bigger end users. And with that, we created a mock-up room, and I'm happy to have any one of you come down to Al Areen and the sales center to see the final product. So this is done. You can explore it on our marketing tool as well on the website, and you can navigate around the different type of layouts that we have developed. We have 5 types of homes designed with flexibility in mind. They have spaces for lifts, for a driver's room, a maid's room. So there are a lot of thoughts that we've given to this and lessons learned from Rafa views, from other examples to make it more up to date, and hopefully it's a nice project to live in. It's under construction. We have a portal. You can also see it online, and you can access day to day on how the construction is also moving. Beyond residential, there's other experiences that we are working on with Al Areen. So we're currently busy looking at a golf course. If we have golfers around, it might be something nice to experience in the future, and also cycling paths. So we're introducing a 9-kilometer cycle path that you can just leave from Raffles and go and wander around the wildlife. And we're looking at the enhancement of the wildlife reserve, which is a nice destination close to Al Areen, and many more residential and hospitality and mixed-use offerings. So we're part of GFH Group, as you know, and you can follow us on Al Areen, Bahrain, and Tilal accounts to see more. On a last note, I think Nail's speech a few weeks ago was inspiring when it came to sporting lessons, and I thought I'll give you a few tips and lessons learned from architects and designers. And with this, I was listening to many interviews, not to see what's their design philosophy and what's their technical aspects, but rather how do they do it? How do they get to a point where they design towers and they design cities, and what's their leadership and their teamwork style? So I'll leave you with a small, clips of videos to explain that.
Office, I can't remember. It's not an architecture unlike all the other things. It's not a kind of a lonely profession. You've got to do with a team. And team structure is very important, and teamwork is very important. And because everybody brings something else to the table, and I think if we work well together, that layering in terms of input is a very enriching and exciting process.
Grew up with the idea that we had to be kind to our fellow man and try to make a better world with what you do. I grew up with that, and school, architecture school, is always about that.
You literally are changing the shape of the world.
Well, with little buildings.
I think architecture is the creation by the network, and without a network, nobody can create architecture. The architecture is a network of designers and producers, developers, and the engineers and the artisans, and those is a big network can create something. And so we always want to combine the people, as if we can create the strong network, so we can create strong architecture.
What is good about our profession is that every time is a new adventure. You have new place, new geography, new topography, new people. Is a new adventure. And if you are the kind of architect that comes and say, I don't care, because I have my own rubber stamp, then at the end it becomes like a grief. It becomes more, you become more important than the real problem. And I think this is bad. But if you have a coherence, that also means all the capacity, all the skill you have been putting together, you and your team. I have an excellent team. I have about 100 people working with me since long time. And 50 of them, maybe more than 10. Some of them 30. And we know each other. This is what they call coherence, because we know how to do things. And so the coherence comes out. If it's there, it comes out. Even if you make completely different things. You are in New York, and you work for the New York Times, and you make it out. And the next day you go
هو سوى الشورت اللي يحبه هشام في لندن بالبناء.
For your body.
I'd also like to touch on the importance of the team, of knowing disciplinary working. The idea that architecture is too important to be left to architects alone. That a holistic view of the world demands a simultaneous inquiry created by all the professions working together. And that's not designed by committee. That is empowering designers with more knowledge of the issues. And my final key word, connections. Connections could be inspirations from other disciplines. It could be the link between those of us who study, students, and the link into future practice. It can be the connections between an early idea, an innovation, technology and innovation in terms of change for the better, the way in which we cannot innovate all the time, but hopefully some of it we will innovate, and then we will build on that evolution, if you like.
Okay, sorry, I think the sound was a bit low, but I hope you got the gist of it. It's more of coherence, working in teams. It's not a one-man show, and that's basically the outcome. So, I mean, I ran you through designs from designing a ring to designing a house to designing a city, and looking from micro to macro. It's all about, design is more of a wider agenda. It comes with more responsibility towards the society, towards the environment, and I just wanted to think that, within each capacity, we're all creatives, we're all designers, and we need to think of the impact that we put out and what's our contribution, basically. Thank you. More questions?
So, does anyone have any question for Ahlam? Anyone building anything?
Simple.
Hobbies? Please, go ahead.
What is your take on AI and how it's impacting architecture? Do you think that within a few years there's going to be more reliance on AI when developing plans
Yeah, so I was asking the same question yesterday to one of the consultants, and they have a network and they're working with architects in Thailand. So they have a huge office down there where they're working on all the designs that we want currently, but they do all the production there. So I told him, how did AI now get integrated into your work? And they mentioned, with AI sometimes you get glitches. Like we've created a lot of those images, giving it to AI, and then with the prompt, you can solve a few things, but it's not currently perfect, and it's not the same as if you completely 3D model something from scratch and you work it out yourself. And we tested and explored it, so it still has glitches that will not be as perfect as if you're doing it completely on your own. But I think with time, because it saves a lot of time as you instantly change colors, you want to explore things, we can now provide options. Hisham asks us, bring us 3 or 4 options of different materials to design this lobby, and it's too quick. I mean, we can do it with the team to have a look and feel. So it does help us in exploring ideas, but I think still with time it will definitely develop. But it will not replace the thinking and how to put things together and design it properly. Inshallah. Anything? ساكت وها خايفة.
Thank you, Ahlam.
Yes. Round of
Thank you.
applause.
حسيت بدي أسأل. في سؤال ولا؟ في سؤال.
How much is the average reasonable price for constructing luxury villa in Bahrain?
يلا نور.
Where square meter?
Baha, you have the answer for you're the pro. It varies.
So
Eh,
maybe
يلا.
you can say what the question was.
I mean, look, I mean, nothing right now is in the, especially if it's on luxury. We've tested it. Don't go beyond or below 250. I think it's not even rational at this point in time per square meter cost. Luxury is on another level. With hotels, we're going up to 600, 750 per square meter. So there is a range. You need to smartly see how to spend, and based on the finishes and your pickiness, it will provide you with the right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Any more questions? Very
I
good.
guess it's safe to say.
Thank you for your time,
you for
and
your-
I hope there was something to learn
Thank you
from
for
this.
doing it.
Thank you.
يعطيك العافية.
الله
Thank you.
يسلمك. شكرا.